Wanna be where you are. I want you to look away, boy. Be my superstar. Your love is all it takes, boy. Wanna be where you are.
Hello, Paul here. I'm back with another video of an art journal page. I started this page by grabbing some of my Orange Dylusions paint and just spreading it around. As you've seen before, usually start off somewhere in the middle just to cover the spine. I'm always aware that you can get too much paint in the middle, so I like to start off by painting the middle and then just give a base coating. It's just a great way for me to start myself off because I really do have no idea what I'm going to be doing on my page, so it's just nice to add a bit of colour. And this journal page, as you will discover as we go around, did not go so smoothly. I don't have any plans, as I've said before. When I make these pages, I start and whatever ideas come to mind, that's how I make them. And unfortunately, as you will see, for instance, on the text side, the text was the biggest problem for me. It started off really well, and then I started outlining it, and I didn't like the look. I think it looks brilliant on other people's pages. They do this marvellous journaling, and they outline it in a different colour pen, and it really makes it pop. Me, it just looks scruffy, horrible. I've tried it on a few pages, and I've never liked it. And this time around I thought I'd try and correct it, as you will see, and just be grateful that there's about an hour's worth of video that got cut, which just shows me trying to add black pen to my journaling. It didn't go well. And for the eagle-eyed later on in this video, you'll notice that although the Dylusions journal is the right way up at the moment, notice the kind of brown overhang of the cover of the book on the left hand side, you will notice that in a way that I didn't notice, that when I start sticking things down and writing the text, that my book goes upside down, so that now for those who like order and sort of like routine in their journals would not like flipping through mine, because you flip through and about 10-12 pages in, suddenly there's a page that is upside down. Anyway, that's by and by. As you can see from here, what I've done as I've been yapping away is I've taken two pieces of A4 paper that I've already covered in various paints with stencils, and I've drawn swirls around them, cut them out and stuck them around the page. Again, not quite the effect I was going for. I wanted a kind of a more organic curvy border, but I think it needed to be a bit of a thinner border. I think it dominates too much, but hey, I'm working with it. Now, one of the tricks I know of is when you put down various shapes in a border, is to take your Posca pen or any pen you've got to highlight, any paint pen you've got to highlight it with, and draw around the shapes. It brings everything out, gives it that kind of cartoonish quality I like. Anyway, I've edited so you don't have to see very much of all that. But for the next bit, where I'm not using a digital stamp this time, I thought I would just draw one of my doodle monster critters from scratch. And again, no plan in mind. I just picked up my pencil, got a piece of A5 card and drew something. Just let my hand go, drew this weird figure of 8 shape, and then decided to work with that. I had in mind that I would have this creature hanging from the ceiling of the page, so I wanted its weird loopy arms to go at the top. If I'd have thought it through a little better, I would have made a smaller critter a little bit lower down and made his arms go above his head. At the moment it kind of looks like he wants to hold something, but I'll go with it. Yeah, I mean, I can take these lessons to a future page, and in respects I don't think it looks too bad when you see the end result. Anyway, I've penciled it in, and as you will see, I erased a few bits out. I wanted to reshape the head, sort of like make it a little bit a bit rounder, so I don't just always get it right on the first time round with the pencil. I like to tweak it a little bit, see what happens. Anyway, once I was finally happy with it, I gave it an initial outline with my Posca paint pen, just to start the ball rolling in, getting an image, getting the black lines down. Brilliant, because I know that once I've done the initial outline, I can start adding colour, and as I've done before, I decided I'd use my watercolours, and these are my Prima set. I think it's the Classic Collection, and I started by laying down a load of yellow paint, then grabbing a green, dotting the green colour into the yellow, so you've got this kind of mix of the two colours, giving it what I thought at the time was like a bit of a snotty green yellow colour. For the bottom part of the critter's body, I just used the green, and I made it slightly less wet, slightly less liquid. I wanted a bit more of a concentrated colour, just to make it stand out a little bit from the top, which is, I say, the green got diluted with the yellow to give a kind of lime green effect, but I wanted just green for the bottom part. And anyway, it's a good way to just start laying down a bit of colour just to get the ball rolling. All the detail and stuff can be added afterwards. Okay, looks like I was happy with that. Now that the drawing is finished and painted, one of the things I do like in these drawings when before you cut them out is to give when I did my whole series of doodle monsters, is I wanted to give them a nice thick outline. It gives it that kind of sticker art look, and I always think it makes the creature stand out more. So I took my Sharpie pen and just drew an outline all the way around the edges. I've taken a smaller Micron pen there just to add details like some shading around the horns to crisscross and hatch the eyes. All the smaller detail, add a little bit more shadow to the drips on the belly. Finally, I took out my colour pencils, and with a variety of darker greens and reds, I began to add my shadows. As you know, I add flat shadows. That's the kind of style I like. And the creature starts coming to life, coming to shape. Here we go. I'm going to add the shade. Yeah, I picked up one green pencil, started shading, realised it wasn't dark enough. If you're only going to use one colour to add a bit of shadow, you need to make sure it's a nice dark colour, not just one shade or two shades dark, but no, as dark as you can feel you can get it going. It makes it pop out, helps it to give it that kind of 3 dimensions, makes it pop out a bit more, stops it looking too flat. Starting adding a little bit of shading around the eyes. I think that was with the grey, just so it wasn't a stark white behind it. Okay, ever so careful to put everything away. Finally, I took a white paint pen, and I tend not to add an awful lot of highlights to my drawings, but I wanted to add a little bit, especially where those drips were, because I felt that they wanted to look as if they were gelatinous and shiny. So a little bit of line work just to give the hint of an idea that things were, as I say, had a shadow and a highlight. You'd almost think I knew what I was doing, wouldn't you? Okay, now my critter's finished. I think that shows it's come a long way since I drew it out in pencil. So, cut it out, and it's now ready to add to my page. And as you can tell, the cover of the book is now on the right hand side rather than left hand side, because I didn't bother to check the design, and so I am now working on this page upside down. All the completed pages are on the right hand side, or if I was to turn it up, you're going to find that this page is upside down. Anyway, it's just how this page went. I started marking out in pencil where my journaling was, and once I was happy with that, I make an initial once over with a thin black paint pen, in this case my Posca paint pen, just to lay it down as a thin line for each text, because it's easier then to work over it and get it a lot thicker. Start adding the serifs and thicker lines, and make your text look a little bit more quirky, as you can see. Go around, and at this stage, I think if I'd have left it alone, the text looks perfect the way, just how I like it to look. And this is really where I should have stopped, but I didn't. Okay, this is where I start. No, I don't start on the... Do I start on the text? Yes. I cut all that out because I outlined the text, and you may or may not agree, but I think it was worse. However, I persevered and started adding a white line around the border, because the white around the text was the only white I really had in it. I thought I needed to add it somewhere else just to give it a little bit more unity, make it fit in. So I added it around the border, and yeah, you see, I'm still hating it. Now, for all those spaces of orange out of blank, I decided I just wanted to doodle, so I took a blue Dylusions paint pen, did a load of circles, made it look like a diseased amoeba, and now I'm taking the white pen and adding a little highlight on each one, because I wanted to turn them into bubbles. I wanted to give the idea that these were bubbles floating around in the design. So I have to say, everything on the page feeling really pleased with, still hating that text. And I thought, really, do I have to live with it? Can I not paint over it? And you would think you could, but I don't know what's in the white paint. I'm not really good on the practical side of what's in paint pens and things, but I can't tell you how hard it was to sort of do the black over the top of it, and that had to go so thick. There's about an hour's worth of work here that I have cut out. Anyway, I don't think it looks too bad, the finished result of the text, but you have to admit it did look better before I added the white. If I'd left it at that point, that would have been perfect. Anyway, thanks for watching the video, and here's a few close-ups, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.